Well, it's the first day of 2019, and there are 365 days left this year. Many people across the world are making New Year's resolutions in order to shed some weight or maybe get their finances in check. In a sense, I feel like we create these New Year's goals only to make ourselves feel a sense of accomplishment. However, it's not long after we set these goals that we seem to fall off the wagon and end up back at square number one. And it's not because we fail to set goals, it's that we fail to plan and execute the steps necessary to achieve the goal. In this video, I want to give you 7 practical tips for successfully achieving your goals in 2019. Hi, I'm Ben, and I am the co-founder of Fly Plugins. On this YouTube channel, we give tips, tutorials, and strategies for creating and selling online courses with WP Courseware, the leading course plugin for WordPress. I really cringe when I hear people making New Year's resolutions because in my mind, I can guess that they likely won't follow through. And how do I know that? Because I've also made New Year's resolutions and I didn't follow through. I think many of us can totally relate to that. So we've heard about writing our goals down, setting target dates for our goals, and maybe you've even heard the SMART goal acrostic. You know, make sure your goals are specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. But what about the nuts and bolts that can get you from point A to point B and accomplishing your goals? There are so many strategies that we could talk about, but these are my top 7 tips for achieving goals in 2019. Tip number 1, the 1440 rule. Basically, there are 1,440 minutes in one day. Each of those minutes will have been used up on something. Now, it might be used on something productive, something entertaining, maybe something pointless and completely worthless. Maybe it was used for rest, but in any case, each minute is valuable. Everyone has the same amount of time each day. Not one single person has a leg up on you when it comes to time. There is no way to get time back. Once that second has ticked, it's gone forever. Just think if you took 5 minutes to do 100 sit-ups towards your weight loss goal, or 5 minutes to call an uncle to rekindle a relationship. It's amazing what can be accomplished in just 5 minutes or 10 minutes or even 30 minutes. Some people swear by the Pomodoro technique. I know my good friend Nate uses this technique. Basically, it's setting a timer with a short time period like 15 or 25 minutes and accomplishing a task within that time period. Then you take a short break. Then it's rinse and repeat. This is really great because it allows you to sprint for short periods of time. And then you rest for a short period, which helps alleviate burnout, which I am going to talk about more later in this video. The point here is time is really valuable and it is what you make of it. I encourage you, think of your days in minutes, 1440 to be specific. How will you use 1440? Tip number 2, plan, plan, plan. One of my favorite movies of all time is Home Alone. When Kevin McAllister decided to take on the bad guys, Harry and Marv, he basically made a plan that he would execute to protect his home. If you've not seen this scene in the movie, you'll need to watch it. It's literally the funniest part of the movie.
Don't worry, Marv, I'll get him for you.
In all seriousness, if you don't have a plan, you might as well not have a goal. So how does this look on a practical level? To achieve your goal, there has to be steps that you follow to get you from point A to point B. When you plan, you will have clarity, which will allow you to focus and move towards your goal. Once you have a plan, you'll want to write it down, which we will cover in the next tip. It's essential that you follow the plan, stick to the plan, and be as consistent as possible. If you do that, you will be amazed at what you can accomplish. Tip number 3, always carry a notebook. There is something very powerful about writing things down physically in a notebook. Whether you are journaling, writing words of wisdom, jotting down ideas, it's best to write these things down. In the previous tip, we talked about planning. So in this tip, we encourage you to write your plan out. Be sure to write down your goals. Not only that, but write down the habits and the systems you will use to achieve those goals. Maybe you could write down additional strategies you'd like to try. that might help you in achieving your goals. Use your planner or calendar to write down the actions you'll be taking from your plan. It's okay to write your action steps down for months in advance. I've heard that one of the benefits to writing things down is that you free up your brain for processing, not storing information. When your brain is free to think rather than to remember, then you become more productive. Not to mention, there is power in writing down your goals and an action plan. Then, as mentioned before, follow and stick to the plan. One more thing you'll want to write down are the wins or the successes. When you achieve a goal, write it down. Do a mental debrief of why and how you achieved success in reaching that goal so that you can discern what did and didn't work. There are journals out there that are designed to walk you through your goals. John Lee Dumas from Entrepreneur on Fire designed the Freedom Journal to accomplish your #1 goal in 100 days. Shailene Johnson has the Push Journal, which is a 90-day goal setting system. Michael Hyatt has written a book called Your Best Year Ever, which also talks about planning out your goals. I'll link to all of these resources down in the description. It doesn't matter what you use, the point is you need to write your plan down. Tip number 4, accomplish your most important task first. Studies show that there is a 2-hour window in the morning when your brain is at its cognitive best. Use that time to make strides towards your goal. It's interesting, some of my best ideas have been when I was meditating, in the shower, or on a morning commute. Something about those morning hours are precious. Be sure to guard that time and not waste it on something like email or Facebook. If it means turning off notifications on your phone or placing your devices on D&D, guard that time so that you can use it for whatever you deem most important. There is a great book called The Miracle Morning, written by Hal Elrod, which talks about planning out an early morning routine that can move you to be more productive and successful in your day. I'll link to it down in the description below. Tip number 5, don't focus on your goals, focus on habits. When you focus on the goal itself, something happens consciously that will cause you to be overwhelmed because you begin to have a sense that you need to accomplish that goal right in that particular moment. When you focus on the habits or the small recurring systems rather than the goal itself, you will eventually hit your goal. For example, when I go to the gym, I give myself a run goal of 2 miles. When I focus on the goal, it makes me look at how far I've ran, and then my body begins to feel tired, and then my brain begins to think about quitting. But if I focus on my breathing and each step I'm taking or the weight that I will be losing, I can accomplish the 2 miles without feeling overwhelmed and ready to quit. There's another really good book that I highly recommend. It's called Atomic Habits by James Clear. In the book, he will explain how habits are formed and how you can engineer habits. I'll link to this book down in the description as well. Tip number 6, stop procrastinating and take action. If you don't do this, there's absolutely no point to having your goal. Engineer your habits and systems so that it's easier for you to take action. Procrastinating is basically a method or an excuse for us not to take action toward our goals. Again, going back to my example of going to the gym. Honestly, I don't wake up in the morning thinking, man, I am so excited to go to the gym. Rather, I start thinking, yeah, I need to go to the gym, but I need to get a few emails out and I need to finish editing a video. And before you know it, I've just talked myself out of going to the gym. Rather, engineer it so that you put yourself in a position of success. To do so, I could leave my shoes by my bed before I go to bed, and I could wear my gym gear to bed. Then the only thing I have to do in the morning is put my shoes on and off I go. Bottom line here is set yourself up for success. Tip number 7, don't burn out. I know this could be an excuse for not taking action toward a goal. However, burnout is a real thing and you want to avoid it at all costs. Don't try to accomplish your entire goal in a day, in a week, or in a month. Otherwise, you'll burn out and you may likely drop the goal altogether. This is why it is essential to create a plan and set realistic target dates to accomplish the goals. Make sure your plan includes time for rest and reset. As an entrepreneur, there is tremendous pressure to get your hustle on or to hustle 24/7. But if you don't have balance in your life, other parts of your life will begin to strain, causing more stress, and then you'll resent taking actions towards your goal, and eventually your goal becomes a failure. Remember the first tip, the 1440 rule? You can't get time back, so make sure you use it wisely. That includes getting proper rest, spending time with family and friends, or other parts of your life that are important. Perhaps one of your goals is to start an online business by creating and selling online courses. If that's the case, we'd love for you to visit our website at flyplugins.com for more information. If you have other types of goals set, I hope that these tips have moved you toward achieving your goals for 2019. Do you have any special tips that you will be using for 2019? If so, would you do me a favor? Would you put them in the comments below? I'd love to hear them. If you found these tips helpful, would you do me a huge favor? Would you hit that subscribe button below? Also, hit that bell right next to it so that you are notified when we release more helpful video content just like this. Thank you for watching, and I wish you a happy and prosperous 2019.